What's going on with the truckers? Welcome to Mutha Trucker News. Email us at muthatruckernews@gmail.com. We are jumping back to this story to update you guys that, look, I want to start off by saying, usually I would say anything Warner, make a carrier. I know I'm sounding like a jerk. I am not on their side. But that accident that happened in 2014, and then the verdict came out in 2018, 4 years later, that they pretty much owe this family now $100 million. And recently, Warner finally appealed this case and is fighting it. You know, for the people that don't remember what's going on, in 2014, on a day with cold, wet weather and highway slick with black ice, a car driven near Odessa, Texas by Trey Salinas, carrying several members of Blake family, crossed a grassy median and collided head-on with a Warner truck driven by Sherez Ali. 7-year-old Zachary Blake was killed, and 3 other Blake family members suffered serious injuries, one left quadriplegic. Salinas was not seriously injured and is not party to the lawsuit. So rest in peace, you know, and of course to the ones involved. But we're literally talking about a vehicle that loses control and then goes into the other median and then crashes straight on with a Warner truck. You know, the lower court decision was affirmed in May, you know, by a panel of states, 14th District Court of Appeals. The jury assigned 70% of the blame to the Warner driver and 14% to Ali. So they're saying it's 70% the truck driver's fault that he was in his lane. And this car from the other median loses control. And then people pass away because of this. You know, Mutha Truckers, I personally am like, look, I'm usually not on Warner's side on this, but man, they have every right to appeal this. You know, so it says here 70% of the blame was to Warner, 14% was to Ali. Salinas received the other 16%. Okay. At issue in Warner appeal are several points of law. So this is what Warner's appealing, including the distribution of liability and the judge's charge to jurors in the original case. A quote unquote, this case presents a textbook example of nature and limits of duty and proximate cause. Warner's attorney says in the opening section of their appeal, the findings by the lower court and the subsequent upholding of the lower court's action by the Court of Appeals shift the question of legal duty significantly in Texas. The attorney's right. What the Warner case means so far is that there is a legal duty on Texas motorists in state's largest appeal district to anticipate that vehicles on the other side of a divided highway will lose control, cross directly into their path, right? And failure to foresee this remote possibility and do everything possible to avoid it, including getting off the road entirely, can make a driver 100% responsible for that accident. So if you're not hearing this in layman terms, what this lawyer for Warner is appealing is saying, is a truck driver, is a person driving in a lane responsible to get out of the way for someone that loses control on the other opposite side of the lane and go into the median? Are you still responsible? And because the Warner driver received 70% of the blame on this, they're saying, I guess that's what they're saying. You know, in the original findings and the 5-4 appellate decisions, Ali was faulted for continuing to proceed down the highway at a rate of speed that could have been considered excessive given the conditions. Testimony suggests his speed was at least 43 miles per hour and maybe as much as 50 miles per hour, while a tow truck operator on the same highway said conditions had forced him to cut his speed to 15 miles an hour. But remind you, that stretch on the I-20 speed limit is 75 miles an hour. So is there a law out there that says that if the speed limit is 75 and you feel that the conditions aren't good and you slow down to 45, is that not enough? Also in the appeal is the question of liability borne by Werner. One of the issues is whether the admission rule that helps limit the liability of a company that already has concealed liability in an incident involving an employee should have an impact on the amount of blame dished out to Werner. Bearing these types of claims would seriously contract, if not eradicate, trying the company strategy that has caused many of the nuclear verdicts in recent years, the Werner attorney wrote, right? Now, the argument over the jury charges involves the precedent set in decision known as Castile. Two of the questions in the jury charge each improperly combine multiple theories of liability against Werner, which is a conflict with the provisions of Castile. Werner attorneys write in their appeal, right? So at the end of the day, they're saying some of the issues that Werner sees as improperly commingled involve that Werner said were personal attacks on several Werner employees, including a female manager whom the Blake's expert described as a good woman who lacked the muscle to have headed up its safety unit several years before the crash. This is not recognized theory of liability in Texas or anywhere else. So they're pretty much bringing in old cases, right? Now, a couple things to remember here. The person that was driving, they said, was a trainee, only had 7 days experience. I found an article somewhere, but I got to find it again. The trainer, I believe, was sleeping in the bunk. Now, I could have that wrong, but they're trying to use all this against Werner on this one. At the end of the day, I'm glad that Werner is appealing this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a lawyer, a friend on this. That's an accident lawyer. I've had him on the show before to figure out how the heck did Werner fumble the ball on this one. I mean, a car literally loses control and goes into the other driver's lane and then crashes. And Werner's to blame for this? Mutha Truckers, comment down below, but I just think this is crazy. This is ridiculous. Rest in peace to the people that have passed away in 2014. But yeah, this is a touchy topic, I know, but it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like if a UFO, forget a UFO, if an airplane just crashes onto a truck, is like if the truck was there, is it the truck's fault? So many dumb examples I could use. Mutha Truckers, comment down below. Tell me what you think about this.